Time magazine called him the unsung hero behind the internet. CNN called him a father of the internet. President Bill Clinton called him one of the great minds of the information age. He has been voted history's greatest scientist of African descent. He is Philip Emeagwali. He's coming to Trinidad and Tobago to launch the 2008 Kwame Ture lecture series on Sunday, June 8th at the JFK Auditorium, St. Augustine, 5 p.m. The Emancipation Support Committee invites you to come and hear this inspirational mind address the theme, Crossing New Frontiers to Conquer Today's Challenges. This lecture is one you cannot afford to miss. Admission is free, so be there on Sunday, June 8th, 5 p.m. at the JFK Auditorium, St. Augustine.
When I say, quote unquote, the internet, I mean the global network of computers that encircles planet Earth. When I say, quote unquote, an internet, I mean a global network of processors that encircles a globe. I use the word internet to describe my global network of commodity off-the-shelf processors that were tightly coupled to each other, that shared nothing between each other. I visualize the emails that I sent to and received from each of my 64 binary thousand processors as having traveled along my 1,048,576 email wires that I visualize as etched onto the 15th-dimensional hypersurface of a globe that is a hypersphere in my 16th-dimensional mathematical hyperspace. The actual global circulation model that is used for climate studies that inspired my invention of my new internet that is that new global network of 65,536 processors was also defined around a globe in three-dimensional physical space. The geophysical flows of air and water are at the core of global warming simulations. We are modeled by using a set of laws of physics that always includes the second law of motion of physics that was discovered 330 years ago. The second law of motion was encoded into a system of coupled, nonlinear, time-dependent, and three-dimensional partial differential equations that I discretized and reduced to a system of equations of algebra that I parallel processed across 64 binary thousand commodity off-the-shelf processors that were tightly coupled to each other and that shared nothing between each other. That is, I discovered how to simulate the planetary motions of the air and water that enshroud the Earth, that is a globe of 7,917.5 miles in diameter. I discovered how to simulate and parallel process around a new global network of processors that is a new internet and a new supercomputer de facto. That was how I invented a new internet that encircled a globe, and how I invented that internet and used it to solve a grand challenge, initial boundary value problem that enshrouded a globe, namely planet Earth. At its mathematical physics core, that grand challenge problem is an extreme scaled computational physics code developed for the high resolution simulation that must be used to predict global warming. In the geometry of higher dimensions, the globe is defined and outlined by a hypersphere that in turn is defined as a set of points at equal distance from a given point called the center. In my physical experiment that revealed the world's fastest supercomputer and revealed it on July 4, 1989, I visualized my 64 binary thousand commodity off-the-shelf processors that used high-speed interconnects that comprised of 1 binary million email wires as evenly distributed around a mathematical globe in the 16th dimension that in turn was projected and etched onto the two-dimensional surface of a physical globe in the third dimension. The hypersphere that I use to define my 2 raised to power 16 commodity of the shelf processors is my generalization of the sphere to the 16th dimension. The hypercube is the similar generalization of the cube from the third dimension to the 16th. I visualize my virtual supercomputer not as a computer as others did, but as a new internet that is a new global network of processors. I was in the news because I figured out how to harness my 65,536 processors and how to command and control them to automatically send and synchronously receive the codes and data associated with my as many initial boundary value problems of mathematical physics. Those codes and data traveled through 16 times 2 raised to power 16 or 1 binary million bidirectional email wires that had a 1 email wire to 1 hypercube edge correspondence to the as many bidirectional edges of the hypercube in the 16th dimensional mathematical hyperspace. By comparison, your everyday emails are manually sent to you and delivered via a computer. Your email that traveled from Nigeria to the United States was routed across the globe or the internet. That internet encircled planet Earth, that is a globe that has a diameter of 7,917.5 miles. In contrast, my emails around my global network of processors were automated and synchronized across an ensemble of 65,536 processors that I visualize as a new internet in the 16th dimension. I visualize my new internet as defined across the surface of a hypersphere, that is a globe in higher dimensions, that in turn tightly enshrouded a hypercube, that is a cube in higher dimensions. I visualize the 16 times 2 raised to power 16 or the 1 binary million bidirectional edges as projected onto its 15-dimensional hypersurface.
Insightful and brilliant lecture.